2014 Huskies. I'm Eric Heisler alongside Andrew Mercier. Andrew, should it be an exciting game today if the Raiders coming off a 4-game win streak?
Yeah, they've definitely been hot, especially last game, with the leading scorers being Marcus Frank and Jaden Smith. Marcus Frank's coming off an 18-point game, and Jaden Smith coming off a 17-point game. They really are a lethal duo, and they're going to be two players to watch out for today.
I think there's got to be a point to be made here in this game, because the last time these two teams matched, Shipppensburg came out with a loss. They lost by 4 in that matchup.
Yeah.
So coming out early so far with a 5-point advantage, a 5-point lead to give them an advantage, I'm assuming there's going to be a statement to be made today.
I mean, the thing that's important about that is Bloom has they're 2-10 in the PSAC. So that means out of their 2 wins, one of them was against the Raiders, and the Raiders have been 5-7 within the PSAC, so a little bit more competitive. But as I said, this division is extremely competitive, and you never know who's going to win. It's a toss-up.
Dixon looking there for Figueroa.
Really good ball movement so far by the Raiders. Frank is definitely one of those players that will shoot a shot. I talked about it earlier in their first game that he is a player that comes alive late, but he's definitely not afraid to shoot the ball, and a lot of the time he's pretty successful. I mean, Dixon has really been a good addition to this Raiders offense this year. He was a part of the team last year as he was a transfer from Mansfield, but I believe he was dealing with some injuries. But he's been fantastic for the Raiders, whether it's offensively, defensively. I mean, he stands out with 4.4 assists, so he's really a team player. Yeah, I mean, the one thing that has really stood out to me is the fast-paced offense, really taking advantage of moving the ball around, trying to tire out the defense. I mean, we've seen that several times with the connection between Jaden Smith and Marcus Frank, or Jaden Smith and Denzel Figueroa. Denzel Figueroa and Trey Martin are both the seniors in the starting lineup. Have been 2 crucial members of this program. They were here at the end of Sean Johnson and Carlos Carter's time here in the program. Were 2 notable players. Dom Sleva was another player whose younger brother, Drew Sleva, is actually on the roster. So that's a little fun fact and something to point out. So, this team is very experienced. That was definitely one thing I talked about last year, was the lack of experience, and it seems that this team's done a lot of growing up. Jackson Boone is one of those players that I talked about a lot last year that had a lot of raw talent, but he really needed to grow into his frame. I always said he was very tall, but was lacking a little bit of muscle in a way. And I said he's got to put a little bit of meat on his bones, and it looks like he has. And he's been one of the top players for the Raiders this year.
Back off the glass, can't get to go, and they're going to reset with Dixon at the top of the key. Before Jaden Smith takes that 3-pointer and sinks it. Shipppensburg now up 10-3 with a 7-point lead. 13 minutes left in the first half.
That doesn't happen without them, being good on the glass. Having that never quit attitude. I mean, I think it was back and forth probably 3 to 4 times, and eventually someone got open. I think they're really building on the momentum that they've really carried through the last 4 games. I mean, they've been very high-scoring encounters every single game. And I've said this for years. Shipppensburg, their offense has never been the issue. Their defense and their size has been the issue. And I said once when their offense gets going, they're one of the best teams in the nation.
Bro finds Boone at the top of the key for 3, and it is Shipppensburg putting on a show with 3 consecutive threes now.
They're playing a little around the world here.
Looking for the matchup that he wants. Gets fouled to get one as he goes up for the layup. He's going to go to the line and shoot 2.
Definitely think that he should probably take like a drama class or something. That was perfect. Put him in the movies. I mean, I think it's pretty impressive. I just realized Monty Hill is a true freshman that is getting, significant minutes in a crucial game for the Raiders. And that's not something that they're afraid to do. Jaden Smith was the same way last year. I believe he was a starter as a true freshman.
Frank goes up off the glass, takes a fall, but gets the ball to drop. Extends the lead for Shipppensburg, 19-7 now.
That was like a rocket that just got shot out. That happened within like 2 seconds. I mean, I think some would argue the reason why they're not shooting outside the three-point arc at the moment is that was their 10th shot beyond the arc, and they are 0 for 10. So, I mean, obviously with them being behind, you know, you would think that they would want to take more three-point shots because they could get even back into the game quicker. But, you know, also a lot of times the three-point shot isn't necessarily the best shot. I mean, this first stat you pointed out about the fact that he has 16 points, which is the total of Bloomsburg. I don't know if that's showing the lack of offensive success from Bloomsburg more than Dixon's personal success, but to get into the lack of offensive success for Bloomsburg, they shot 5 for 24 from the field in the first half. Here's the key stat for you guys. 0 for 12 from three-point range. We were talking about it earlier about the importance of being able to shoot behind the arc, and they have had 0 success. You know, in some cases I can say, oh, they've had minimal. It has been 0. On a positive note, a couple things. They're 6 for 8 from the free throw line. I think free throws are extremely important. People call them 3 points. You know, that's giving you some points. It's, a lot of cases, that's giving you a chance to rest for a second, unless it's a one-on-one. And they also have 15 rebounds compared to Shipp with 20 rebounds. So there's only a 5 rebound margin between the two. And I didn't really realize that. I mean, I thought that Shipp was really dominating in terms of rebounds, but Bloom's quietly been putting up some good stats, but they really got to turn around offensively. Their leading scorer right now is Cody Johnson with 4 points. That's got to increase. But back to you, Eric. Looks like Jackson Boone's going to sub in. My prediction is that he's going to come in for Trey Martin as Coach Fight wants to get a little bit bigger. Sabantino's been very successful over the last 2 possessions, really out-rebounding and just overall outsizing Trey Martin. So I think Coach wants to get a little bit bigger.
And just as they make that sub, Sabatini's going to sub out. RJ Young back in. There's Cody still feeling it. That's 3 for him. Tack that on.
That's the first made 3 from the Huskies all game. You know, that stands out to me because, you know, going into halftime with shooting 0 for 12 from 3 makes most people would give up and be like, all right, we're just not going to shoot. But, you know, they clearly didn't give up and they liked the shot and they made it.
Oof. Good look from Dixon.
So key. You know, you don't want to allow the Huskies to build on the momentum that they've clearly have had over the last 3 possessions because everything can change on the drop of a dime. We could be looking at, you know, look at the score right now. You know, 3 minutes from now, Bloom could be winning. It's that quick. That's the cool aspect of the game of basketball.
That'll be the second team foul of the half on Bloomsburg.
Well, that's one important thing to note is, I mean, I believe it was within the first 5 to 6 minutes of the first half that Bloom had about 5 to 6 team fouls, and you know that was something we brought up was this is going to come down to bite them in the end, and it did. And you know they've clearly been a lot more disciplined in making smarter plays so far at the start of the second half, and you know I think that's why they've been so successful.
And holding their own, but they have started to let Bloomsburg creep back into this game a little bit.
Yeah, I mean that's something that you just can't do. I mean remember, Bloomsburg had 16 points coming into this half. About 9 minutes in, they've already equaled how many points they had in the entire first half. But I think that's also crucial in how they're scoring. You know, they're starting to score a little bit more. They're starting to force Shipppensburg to make mistakes. And some of those mistakes are self-inflicted. But, you know, they've been playing a lot tighter defense, which is causing Shipppensburg to take maybe not the best shots.
Comes back out because of the Figueroa. Figueroa goes up, draws a foul, does not get the bucket, but he will go to the line to shoot 2.
As I said, he just demands presence. He demands attention when he's down there. You know, even if the shot doesn't go in, you know, he's still giving his team an opportunity, whether he's throwing up a shot or getting an extra rebound and passing out to one of the guards. Figueroa is extremely important. You know, he only has 2 points, but his impact goes way beyond the stat sheet.
Figueroa breaks up another play. You talked about it earlier. You don't really see him on the stat sheet as much, but everything he applies in this game really has an impact on the play of everybody else.
Exactly. He is the definition of a team player. He could care less if he scores 4 points. He could care less. All he cares about is wins.
Nagel throws up.
Yeah, I mean, He had 3 assists, 3 rebounds. He was just starting to spread the ball out a little bit more, which is, it's not a bad thing. You know, it's all about giving the younger players some confidence to, you know, build on as we go towards the back half of the season, you know, and then obviously into the future of their collegiate careers, hopefully here at Shipppensburg University.